All right. Welcome back to Press Play Action here. Jersey Nerds Productions, Mitchell Lee, Tommy Grant, Brandon 2. All the names have been named, and we're here to talk about
All the names,
Jurassic
three people.
World, Fallen Kingdom, and Jurassic World Dominion. Can you tell I'm excited, guys? I want to get back to the Spielberg stuff. Spielberg's not even a producer on these movies.
Thought he was on Dominion. Am I crazy?
He might have been like an executive producer, as in like
Yeah.
cut me a check for some
I
shit.
th-
But
I think he was an executive producer on Dominion, but that's about it.
He's not a producer.
I feel like that Jurassic World trilogy kind of had the same effect that the Star Wars sequel
I
trilogy
knew
had,
you were gonna say that.
where they had the one director
Yeah.
start off. They had a really good nostalgic like opening. The second one went to shit with a different director. Then they're like, oh, let's bring the other guy back and try and revive this thing, and it's still just tanked, even worse than the second one.
As someone who unironically loves The Last Jedi, I'm gonna come down pretty hard on you for that. Um, because I just don't agree with that whatsoever. However, I think these two have been compared a lot because they went from this can be kind of cool to all right, you're just kind of nostalgia baiting people and
Yeah,
you've got nothing else to bring to the table apart from that. In the third movie, because you tried some stuff in the second movie that maybe didn't go over very well. But let's go ahead and dive into Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the sequel to Jurassic World, the big, successful, for the most part, liked movie. Not a beloved movie, not a movie that people were like really enthusiastic about it, but a movie that people had a good time with. This came out June 22nd, 2018, directed by J.A. Bayona. Now, I have not seen any of his other. Actually, that's not true. No, that is true. I haven't seen The Impossible. I haven't seen The Monster Calls. I haven't seen Society of the Snow. I've heard really good things about all of those movies, and I bet that I
Yeah.
would really
Society
like them.
Society of the
Society of the
Snow.
Snow.
Society of the Snow. I've heard really good things about, but yeah.
yeah. I
Um,
had never even heard of those movies before tonight, so I can't say anything about them.
I've heard excellent stuff, but he stepped up to take over the director's chair after Colin Trevorrow. I don't know if he wasn't asked to return or whatever the case would be.
Did he say the plot was too dumb? I can't do this, and they were like, "Sorry, we're getting a new director." Maybe that was
He originally
that was
said
the idea.
he originally said that he would do it, and then just decided against it at a
See,
point.
this is what I'm saying. I think he decided to do it. That he got the script or like the writing, and he was like, "This is what we're doing with this trilogy. I'm out."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm good."
So this one stars again Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, some doofus named Rafe Spall, Toby Jones, Ted Levine. It says Jeff Goldblum, but that's a fucking lie.
Jeff
Yeah,
Goldblum for 5
that brief
seconds.
cameo.
The IMDb, or not the IMDb, the Wikipedia on this page is just incorrect. It says that it's got a budget of $432 million. That is not true. The budget for this was 170, and it made $1.3 billion. So, regardless of what any of us are going to say about this, this was a gigantic box office success.
Box
And that's
office
the thing about
king is
movies
what this was.
is obviously we try to come at it with more of a critical lens than just the hey, this is a fun movie, or no, this isn't a fun movie. Because obviously Jurassic Park, we've said this over and over, they're fun summer movies. People are going to enjoy them regardless of how good the story is.
Right.
So, yeah, I can believe that they're going to be continue to be box office. Obviously,
1.3
we have
billion is insane, Tommy.
yes.
Like that is an insane amount of money.
It's a lot of
And
Tonka trucks.
I gotta be honest. I think Rebirth is about to do 800, 900. Like
I don't know.
I'm going to talk about Rebirth
mean-
at the end of this episode after.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I think
that's
a
fine.
good-
We can do that too. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
To your point, it's very possible it does money too because
I
it's a
think it
Jurassic
definitely.
movie.
I think it's definitely got potential to kind of revive the franchise a little bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But we'll
I
get to
don't
that.
agree with the two of you, but we will get back to that later.
yes,
Yeah.
So this was a giant hit. However, and as someone that worked at a movie theater at the time that this came out, I can confirm that butts
A lot
were
of
in
people going to
seats
see it.
for
Yeah.
this thing. And this movie came out around the same time, the week after another gigantic movie came out that got even more butts into seats.
2018.
What movie was that? It was a
Is that
movie that made
Avengers?
more. No, good guess, but that was April. That was late April. A movie
Oh,
that
it
came
was.
out the
All right,
week
at least I had the
before
year right.
Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, and made over nearly 200 million more than North American box office. This was a hugely anticipated
Ready Player
movie.
One.
A hugely anticipated movie. No, not Ready Player One, Brandon.
I loved Ready Player One, so you shut your mouth.
But it wasn't like Brandon. That's not the right. No.
Okay. Mission Impossible. What are we doing?
No.
Incredibles
Oh.
2.
There we go, Tommy. It was
Yeah, good call.
Incredibles 2. That was the movie
I have
that
the
people have
poster
been waiting
behind me.
for, 15 years. And
I have the movie poster, Incredibles 2, by the way, Mitchell. Like, I got it from that theater.
it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
But yes, those
Good
two
movie.
movies had theaters popping in June of 2018. And I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. I think Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom is fucking awful.
Fair enough. I have nothing
I
against
have not
it,
gotten to be angry.
Would
in
I
these
rather...
reviews.
All right, so I want to know what specifically made you what about this movie makes you angry?
Would I rather watch...
Here we go.
This is what I'm saying. Like, this is my actual question, and I'm not joking. Would I rather watch the Jurassic games or Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom? And you might be saying, what is the Jurassic games?
Yeah.
It's some fucking random, like, parody movie that was made in the summer of
Oh, is this
2018.
like Friedberg and Seltzer, where it's like the Starving Games and like
Yeah, I think it's
epic
funny.
movie?
I think it's funny as fuck. But
That's I don't.
I hate this. I hate this movie too. I don't like it at all.
Hey.
I don't know if it's an F.
We're all on the same page. We all know
I don't know if it's an
No,
F.
I bet I hate this movie more.
I think
I
Mitchell
know.
actually hates
This is
movie.
the angriest
I'm in,
I have ever been leaving.
This movie sucks.
Second
All right.
angriest I've ever been leaving a movie.
Mitchell, you get a 2-minute time limit on what grinds your gears about Jurassic
And then
World.
you can tell us about Phantom Thread afterwards.
Go.
Well, hold on, because I'm gonna kind of save my 2 minutes for later, because most of my big complaints deal with how this movie concludes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the last at least 30-40 minutes of this movie, because I remember being kind of like, okay, where do you
like the
go?
middle part? Because I hate the middle part.
Brandon, all will be revealed in due time. All will be revealed in due time. By the way, no, it wasn't Phantom Thread. The most pissed off I've ever been leaving a movie theater was Iron Man 3.
Oh,
Because I remember being so excited for the Mandarin.
the ending of...
And that was just a disaster.
But it
the way
paid
they
off.
handled that.
It paid off with
I do not agree.
Multiple times.
But I remember seeing the trailers for this and seeing like, okay, there's this volcano on this island that no one has ever mentioned anything about. But sure, it's a volcano.
So
now.
I have a comment on that right off the bat. So
The
I was
dormant
doing
volcano?
I was doing some research on this because I was just annoyed watching this
You were
movie.
dumbfounded. You were
And I was
dumbfounded.
like, I need to do some research on this bad boy because I need to have notes. And so apparently the concept of the volcano was in the original novel for Jurassic Park. They don't really mention it in the movie, but it's a fact that it was there to begin with. So that was
Okay.
a fact that they were
So
kind of giving homage.
they
to say,
didn't
hey,
just make that up.
this was
Yeah.
here. No, it was not made up. But the thing that really irked me was the fact that we all of a sudden had this new scientist that was involved. We have a partner that was never even in the original trilogy to say, hey, this is this guy. Like, it's just all of a sudden he had this magical partner that worked with him on creating Dinosaur.
You can say Eli Mills
I didn't know his name.
is an annoying character. Dr. Wu ruins this franchise, but he also pushes it forward the entire time because every decision he makes is awful.
let's start with the stuff on the island in the beginning of this movie
Okay.
before we
Yeah.
get into that
All right.
stuff, because I remember seeing the trailer, and what this movie was sold on was
Was
the
the
stuff on
destruction
the
of the island?
island, and you kind of thought that that was going to be the movie,
You're
and
like,
that's
oh
really
yeah.
only
You're
the
like, oh
first
shit.
like 45 or so minutes of the movie. Now, if you want to talk about terrible, horrible, awful, motherfucking bad characters, let's talk about let's talk about Zia and Franklin.
All the supporting
Um,
cast in this movie was not good.
You
I'm
mean
sorry.
Okay, so Franklin Webb and Zaya Rodriguez are like
yes.
the worst characters ever.
Now
And
you know my thoughts and opinions on Justice Smith as an actor, Brandon. You know
he
that
got
I
a
think this
Razzie for
guy
worst
Look,
supporting actor for this movie.
yeah, and he should have, because let's be
he's
honest,
fucking terrible
he's awful in this movie.
in just
And
about every movie he's in.
Mitchell is pointing out that Mitchell doesn't like Justice Smith in like anything, but I will back up Mitchell here that Justice Smith is probably the worst part of this entire movie. But I also don't entirely blame him, because I think his character is horribly written.
He's given horrendous material. I will
Yeah.
agree with you wholeheartedly as far as that goes. And if this was an isolated incident where Justice Smith was just really bad in this movie, I might be willing to give him a pass. But Justice Smith is bad in this movie in ways that he's bad in just about everything else too.
Fair enough.
But no, I do not like him in this. I liked Zaya, whatever the hell. I liked her a little bit more because she was just she was a little she was a little bit more like she had a purpose to the story, like she did a thing or two, whereas
Yeah.
he just screamed like a bitch the whole movie.
The worst part about his character is he gets there to like open the facilities, and then they just like ransack it or do a weird code, and they just like lock him in, and he's like, well, I'm useless now. My character can't do that thing to get the doors open, so we're done.
His character was useless the whole way through, but the whole point of the movie, and Bryce Dallas Howard's character Claire, she's like, all right, she's working for like this Save the Dinosaurs campaign, which felt like a very strange pivot for her character, but I'm willing to buy it, except for the fact that the whole point, to an extent, and they asked me to believe way more than I ever could, because the whole point is like, oh, don't you just, kids these days, like the next generation is going to grow up not having dinosaurs. Could you believe that?
That was one of the lines that really pissed me off in this movie. I'm like,
You were like the fake. You mean the fake genetic dinosaurs that Dr. Wu cooked up in a lab? Yeah. Those dinosaurs, like.
And like that was one of the lines from Jurassic World that Dr. Wu basically said. It's like when the whole concept of the raptor came out, he's like, you guys wanted something cooler, better, more teeth. He's like, none of these animals are real. They all have other animal DNA in them. Like, so all of a sudden, like this whole concept of them wanting to protect the dinosaurs, and dinosaurs basically have rights to live. It's like, no, they were created in a lab. They're not real dinosaurs. They're just genetically mutated animals.
I can get behind the we gotta save the dinosaurs because we fucked up and put them back on this earth when they were already extinct. I can buy that concept. The lengths at which they go to protect the dinosaurs is absurd to me.
And that's a plot line that carries fully into Dominion, which also is why I don't like these two as a whole.
These movies do a bad
because
job
then it
when
goes
they're trying
even
to be
farther.
Conservationist mouthpieces, which again, like I said in the last few, I agree with what you are saying with other things, but with dinosaurs, it's like, no.
Keep them on the island.
The main thing about this movie for me is I think it was a natural progression for this franchise that it had to get to this point, because you can't just do the same movie on an island over and over. It gets boring.
Sure.
And the whole concept in the beginning with Jurassic Park was the two scientists, Grant and Malcolm, basically saying, hey, this is going to end badly one way or another, and mankind and dinosaurs were not meant to mingle. It's going to get bad. Like, don't do this. and this was kind of the stepping stone of, hey, this is what Grant and Malcolm
This is what
predicted in
happens.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen. Now you guys have to deal with the consequences with creating dinosaurs that will now basically leak out into the real world. And I thought it was it it was a good concept for the franchise to say, hey, all this shit that was, debated in the first movie, we're gonna bring it to light. But I think the story just wasn't there, and I could not care for the characters or the storyline that they threw out there.
I think that's the problem. Is I have no issue with what they decided to do with the plot. It's just as soon as you got to that point, you didn't like elevate the story past like now dinosaurs are here and dinosaurs are like the earth is heating up and we'll get to it with Dominion. Like they add another layer of it and it's like okay, but at some point it's about like dinosaurs and people coexisting, and clearly that's not going to work. And also, like a lot of the issues in this entire series can be solved by if people let the dinosaurs live by themselves on this island and leave them alone,
And
then
that's the
nothing
thing.
bad will
They
happen
did.
and people
They did.
continue to go to these islands.
They abandoned the islands. It was those stupid fucking mercenaries that were working for the scientists that came and fucked everything up when they
Right.
had to go underwater to get the bones.
And look,
And
we'll
messed
get
it
to it
all
with
up.
Dominion. Dinosaur money, black trade dinosaur. I mean,
Yeah,
look.
let's get into kind of the second act of this
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
and
Let's
talk
go to
about
that.
some
Yeah, 'cause-
secondary characters of this thing that just absolutely suck. First of all, they keep mentioning Benjamin Lockwood as if he's some character we're supposed to know about and care about and have connection to. And I kept
That's the
going, is this
grandpa,
motherfucker
right?
in any of the other movies? No, he's not. Like
Right.
they just his
It's just a
name
random
carries
person.
reverence, but
So
it
he
absolutely
just has a
doesn't.
bunch of money, right? That's it. That's it, right? He just has
He
a
was
ton of
friends
money,
with the original guy,
and he was friends with
John Hammond.
with John Hammond.
Yeah.
And basically,
Cool.
I guess he just took over John Hammond's work and was like, well, John Hammond tried to create Jurassic Park, then San Diego happened, then I tried to create Jurassic World. The other guy, who I'm totally blanking on his name, is like is like running Jurassic World, but I guess in the end, Lockwood's character is like funding Jurassic World.
All right.
Is the concept.
So here's one of the other things that really pissed me off about this movie was in the conversation that he's having when he says, John said it best, they don't need our protection, they need our absence. Then why the fuck
Then why are we here? Why are we here? Why does this exist?
Why was Hammond, who was supposedly the one saying that dinosaurs deserve our absence, why was he building a theme park that was literally bringing humans to them?
Yeah,
Why would we have Jurassic World?
You know what it's called? You know what it's called? It's called money, Tommy. Money. That's what it's
But
about.
it contradicts their characters.
Oh, it does.
He's like, hey, we're creating these beautiful creatures that we're going to let live in harmony.
And look,
by the way, hey, we all of a sudden have this another brand new magical island they're going to live on because it's perfectly enclosed and
right, it's a better island. Yeah,
can't escape. But it's like, then why the fuck weren't they there in the begin with?
Right, why don't we move them there in the first place? Yeah,
you can't keep making up island after island after island. It just
Claire. Can we get to it, Mitchell?
Power of the story.
Claire's character is dumb. Her character
Claire's character, believe it or not, has the biggest arc of the entire trilogy here.
Big arc.
Because Chris Pratt's character is the same. First movie, second movie, third movie. Chris Pratt's movie is
Chris Pratt.
And some could say he's consistent.
Chris Pratt is ex-Navy, whatever he was.
Yeah.
But Navy officer training. He's a Raptor
guy that shows up and does cool stuff.
Yeah, he's just a cool Raptor trainer, and like that's what he's referred to as the guy who trains Raptors.
Yeah,
like, that's all.
This movie has the least of a clue of what to do with that character, by far.
Which doesn't make any sense to me, because his character, how we're describing him, yes, he's one-dimensional and bland in that aspect, but he trains fucking Raptors. Like, that's cool as fuck.
And they have the least use for that in any of the movies in this one.
Because they took that away because, again, this franchise outgrew the islands. They're coming into the real world. Now we get the concept of dinosaurs for profit. which also, of course, as we all know,
Dinosaur bones for profit.
the government and military will always take first dibs on any sort of new technology, new concepts. That's just how history works.
Sure.
And so we get the introduction of the laser pointer, whatever that gun was. It basically gets the dinosaur to target onto that spot. I forget what they call it.
What is the new Raptor that they unveil at the bidding?
It was a stupid.
The
Indoraptor or
Indoraptor, yeah.
Indoraptor. So it's a mix between the Indosaurus and the like a raptor.
Yeah. The Indominus Rex and the Velociraptor.
Yeah, Indoraptor. Yeah, and it's like okay, I can buy this, and then we have like the Russians bidding on it. We have like
okay. Time out for a second.
It literally made me think of a like black market like child prostitute like buying kids on the black.
I was thinking like nukes. I was thinking like people buying.
First of all, the Russian
like
dude
weapons
going
grade nukes off
the Russian dude going 25 millions. Like okay,
no,
buddy.
Look,
come on.
I can buy all that. I can buy all of that. But the funniest part,
you've bought a lot of bullshit in this damn review.
The funniest part is the guy who's doing the auctioneer. He turns. He's like, "Well, it's just a prototype. We can't actually sell it to him." And the Mills guy is like, "Yeah, screw that idea. We're selling it for 28 mil or whatever it was."
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and get into this right now. I think Rafe Spall is someone that needs to go pro in something other than sports, if you know what I mean. This dude sucks. In ways I didn't know it was possible to suck. But he's the worst actor in this movie, and he shares a movie with Justice Smith.
Justice Smith.
You heard what I said. No, you heard what I said. You heard what I said, Brandon.
Okay.
What kind of name is fucking Rafe Spall? Get a real name, dude.
What other things has he been? I'm about to look it up.
Yeah, probably a local Toyota commercial, and that's probably where his career
he was in The
Big
Short. He was in The Big Short and Life of Pi. So, whoa.
And they probably knew better than to use, considering the fact that I've seen The Big Short multiple times and cannot remember him from that movie at all. They knew to use him as like guy sneezing in background, and not give him actual speaking parts.
So
this dude
if
sucks.
you had to rank characters that are bad in this, like just bad characters, what would be your rankings?
If we're talking bad characters, we will get to the character that I like the least.
Okay.
Momentarily, but the actor I like the least is here. Now, also a horrible actor that is just fucking terrible is the guy that plays the like military doofus who's like taking teeth from the dinosaurs.
Anything involved with the military in this
is just
franchise
so
is bad. It's bad.
It's so bad.
I feel like they turn them into like military wannabe Crocodile Dundee like characters. Just
because
like
this dude.
Do you guys think the concept of adding the military to this like dynamic is like even a bad concept? I don't think it's a bad concept.
No,
I just think it's poorly executed.
It's logical.
Maybe it is because they keep doing it badly.
That's a good point. It might be a bad concept because every time they do it,
they get crappy actors to play the roles. They write the characters poorly. They get shitty dialogue. Yeah,
I need John Bernthal in this movie. I need John Bernthal to like add.
John Bernthal knew better than to be doing this.
Would never be in this movie. Yeah, that's
fair.
Yeah,
but honestly, he would have been much cooler to see on screen as that character. But that's because John Bernthal gives more grit in his characters.
I only say that because
like a dumb asshole.
I only say that, Mitchell, just because I saw Sicario earlier today, and I'm like, John Bernthal is good in like every role he takes, whether it's like a bad guy, a good guy, like he's good in all.
I completely forgot that John Bernthal was in that movie.
He's randomly in that movie. Like it's a random character.
Yeah,
that, like is important, but like isn't.
Like
important.
I know I'm not as high on that movie as most other people are, but I just forgot that.
But my whole point with the military is so Sicario is a good example. There are movies that do the military stuff well. Jurassic World, Jurassic Park doesn't do it well, so get away from it. Like I hope Rebirth is not a bunch of military stuff. I really hope it's not. And that's
the problem
my worry.
Is Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, you're supposed to focus on dinosaurs. That should be the main focal point of all the movies. In this movie, it wasn't. I mean, for Christ's sake, We have guys murdering old men with pillows instead of using a dinosaur. Instead of using a dinosaur
I
to kill
forgot
them.
that scene. I
I
forgot
was like,
that scene. That is
what
awesome.
the fuck? Like, really? Like, that's how we're gonna kill off a character? Like, we could have just had
Also,
the
they
dinosaur.
just thought they could drop in. They just thought they could drop in like 4 people randomly that are like actually a little bit like famous in the outside world. Drop them on this island. Just leave them there when the volcano erupts and have them die. And like no one was gonna ask any questions. Like where is like Chris Pratt's character? Where's Claire? Like no one was gonna ask any questions about that. Like they just thought you could like randomly kill those people and like leave them
Mhm.
on the island. And also, like, if we're gonna kill them, if you're military, just double tap. Like, what are we doing? Like, put them on the ground, shoot them, and it's over. Like, why are we like? I guess it's just
Well,
it's a
because most
movie, so it
people
doesn't
actually
matter.
didn't
But
think that they were gonna escape a volcanic island that was exploding.
that's a good point. I mean, okay, so
Hey,
Mitchell.
Tommy.
Yeah, go ahead.
What
Yes.
was that? What were you going to say? But you said something very interesting that I think is very profound when it comes to
Profound?
talking about Jurassic Park movies. What did you say
Sure.
that they should be about? What did you say
Was
they
it
should
was
be
it
about?
dinosaurs?
You said that they should be about dinosaurs,
I didn't I?
not little clone girls.
Thank you.
And that's
I was
what this
wondering when we were gonna
series
get
became
this.
about in the second in the this character
So
of Macy Lockwood. Again, we want to talk about
Before we-
actors that
Whoa, whoa,
probably
whoa,
should go
whoa, whoa, whoa,
professional
whoa.
in something other than sports.
Whoa. Do
What?
we actually think Maisie's character is bad?
Horrible.
yes,
Horrible.
but
Okay.
before Mitchell gives,
I
his
don't think
vent
she's that bad, but okay.
I
Terrible. The worst
Her-
thing that they have done in this franchise.
Look,
Worse than the
she's a
Raptor
kid
going
actor.
Alan on the plane.
all right. Shut up, Mitchell.
That was the best part. That was the greatest.
She's a kid actor, so I will never shit on kid actors because they're just kids. Like
I'll do
they
it.
could always pick a better kid actor, but whatever. I thought
Do that, please.
the concept of why we're introducing this, I thought was stupid. It was a terrible plot line that never should have came to light in this franchise, but they did it. And the worst part of that is how they delivered it in Fallen Kingdom. Like you could have had this whole maybe investigative plot line where like they uncover stuff and like what the hell is this? And maybe saw the videos of the scientists maybe making those videos of her cloning herself.
Great point.
They could have
Great
done
point.
something cool. But instead, they have a shitty actor deliver a quick, crappy line at a climactic point. You don't know who she is.
That was the worst
Boom,
part.
and it just runs off. Like
Yeah.
that's how we're gonna.
That was the
deliver
worst
this
part.
plot line. Like
That was the
that's
worst part.
the peak moment where we find
We'll
out.
get
what
into
she
this
is.
with
Like,
with Fallen
it was
Kingdom.
so stupid. That's where I was like, I'm done with this movie. This
Yeah,
was
yeah,
the
no.
dumbest way you could have delivered that.
Same part in the movie where I was like, I'm out. But I do think Fallen Kingdom, and we'll get into this. I think they do a good job of like bringing the storyline back around, and like at least making it be like, okay, now I know why she like cloned a baby. Like what? Like she wanted a daughter, but she didn't want. Like we'll get into it, but I don't think it was too bad. My point is, out of all of this, Mitchell, is if you're going to lean into that storyline, then we got to do something more than Doctor Wu. Like, we got to get Doctor Wu out of the franchise. Like if we're gonna lean into the storyline,
All right.
get
I'm
the man out
gonna
of the
fix your
franchise.
face, Mitchell. Hold on, just
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
open,
just
open
one.
your eyes. It's okay.
You said okay.
Mitchell,
can
I don't think this movie is an F because I don't think Maisie's like that bad of a character. I think everything else around her is dog water. Like it is bad.
They just completely fumbled characters and storylines that didn't need to even be in this movie to begin with. And
That's my whole point with Maisie. Is
they
like why
dove
even
too
mention
far.
that she's a clone? Why
They
even mention
dove
it?
way too far down the genetic rabbit hole that this franchise was born off.
Oh,
of.
you think they went too far down the rabbit hole? They went even farther. It divided. They go
But that's
even
the thing,
farther.
Tomas.
they just carried on the plot lines from this. So this is what sparked Dominion, which is why I truly
Tomas.
didn't like Dominion at all. But we'll get to that momentarily.
Wait, Mitchell, what?
Let's
Tomas.
finish up this movie. Mitchell,
Tomas?
go have your moment.
Can I have my 2 minutes now?
Is this your 2 minutes? Is
You know
this
what?
like?
Since you've been
this
so
is-
patient, Mitchell. Since
Are
you've
you
been
going to
so-
complain about
You get
Doctor
3
Wu
minutes.
and Macy for like the
All
whole
right.
time?
No.
Yeah,
I don't need 3 minutes. All I need these bitches don't deserve 3. They get 2. And apparently, when they said 2, that meant Brandon left as well.
All right, we're about
Damn
to
it,
hit
Brandon, you
30.
just made editing significantly more difficult. But, all right, here we go. Every single side character in this movie is just abysmal from beginning to end. Whether it's Rafe Spall and his not acting ass, whether it's Macy Lockwood, whether it's whoever the fuck Lockwood, whether it's the military people, Bryce Dallas Howard's arc is handled horribly. They have no idea what to do with her. Chris Pratt's just standing around making stupid faces the whole damn movie. And then you have this fucking clone kid sitting around crying the whole movie while a dinosaur comes and tries to get her in bed like Bill Cosby towards the end of the movie. It's some really weird shit, man. And then at the end, they're just like, okay, we've got these dinosaurs and we're going to sell them. But you're not going to sell dinosaurs to some Russian doofus. That's not going to happen. So, okay, we've got these dinosaurs and they're trying to get out of this house, but the house is on fire or some shit. And we got to...
It's an estate. It's a mansion.
Sure, this is my 2 minutes, Brandon, not yours, okay? You can have your 2 minutes here in a minute. Here's the thing. They make the decision. These dinosaurs, they had their time. It's time for them to be done. And then no one is looking at the fucking button to let the dinosaurs out into the world when this fucking clone bitch walks up and is just like, they're alive like me. Which, when she said that, I said out loud in the theater, no joke, are you fucking stupid? Just as loud as that for anybody to hear. And then the movie ended shortly thereafter, and someone started clapping. And I turned around and said, don't clap for this fucking bullshit. I was pissed. This movie betrayed me because I thought I was going to have a good time. I wasn't expecting anything fun. I was just expecting a movie that didn't insult my intelligence the way that this thing did. This movie gets an F 24.54, and you know what? If you said, hey, Mitchell, would you rather watch Little Man or Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom again? Give me Marlon Wayans every day of the week.
And time. That was a full 2 minute, 15-second.
Bravo.
I think we need to add this segment into our episodes of just what grinds Mitchell's gears about this movie, and Mitchell just gives it 2 minutes.
Yeah, but
most movies we talk about don't have that. Like, I'm not going to be able to do that for Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
No, you might not, but you will have it for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Hey.
Whoa. No, I'm just kidding. I don't like that movie.
All right.
Is this Brandon say dumb shit day?
No, I do think Crystal Skull is like the worst Indiana Jones.
Okay.
But
all right, Brandon. What's your grade and your thoughts on the end of the movie?
Look. The end of the movie is bad. I mean, how they let them out of this mansion and then they just where are they even at? Like New York? Like they just go into New York State? Like I have no idea where this mansion
I think they're
is.
in like Nevada because one of them just like walks into like Las Vegas.
Sick. I want Bronkosauruses in
I think they panned around because the
Vegas.
whole scene with the T-Rex and the lion roaring at each other. I feel like that
was in New York City. That had to be
that was Grand Central Park.
That had to be Grand Central, like zoo. Yeah, that had to be the park. That had to be the zoo. Yeah, I don't like this movie. But maybe I'm just indifferent to Isabella Sermon and Maisie's character. Like I just can't believe they introduced her being a clone that way, and then everything that proceeded after that. Honestly, I wanted another 10 minutes because I just wanted them to explain how batshit this entire decision was. But honestly, when you hit that button and you put dinosaurs into the world, might be the best decision in the entire series because what are we doing here? We might as well just put dinosaurs in Vegas and stuff like that. Because at this point, are people going to stay off that island? The answer is no. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts with the end of the movie is I think it was the logical conclusion that they had to hit the button and let the dinosaurs out into the world. but I don't think Macy's character should have hit it. And then I definitely don't think she should have said the line that she said. They're living like me. Yeah,
I,
you got me to buy a lot of things in that movie. I was not buying the last 15 minutes. Um, I said earlier this probably isn't an F. No, it's an F. I'm gonna go F. 80.8, but yeah, it's a bad movie. It would definitely be on my like worst 10 of the year with whatever year this came out. 2018.
2018. This will be on my bottom 10, guaranteed.
Yeah, honestly, if I watch this movie again, it might go to like an F, like 50.6, and then it might go even like farther down the list.
How many times you plan on watching this damn movie?
Yeah, it's a bad movie. It's an F for me. I wonder if Tommy is also an F. If we have the trifecta here,
I'm sadly not that far down. I gave it a little bit more grace because I enjoyed the beginning of it, but
I don't hate the beginning, if that makes sense.
Oh, I do. I hated everything in this movie.
I enjoyed the tiebacks and what they were trying to carry on from the first Jurassic Park movie. It was just a big fail in the flop. I gave it a D, just to be nice. I didn't hate it as much as Dominion.
Oh,
but yeah,
I actually think Dominion has some things going for it, and we'll get into it.
We're gonna disagree.
I couldn't get behind it.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's make the transition. Happy Pride Month, everybody. The transition to Jurassic World Dominion, which would come out 4 years later, June 10th, 2022. Colin Trevorrow returns to direct this movie. And again, Chris Pratt. This is the one
Where was he for Fallen Kingdom? Why are we
he was directing a movie called The Book of Henry, which if you haven't seen it, holy fucking shit. You need to watch it because it is the most like, what the hell kind of drugs were you on when you made this?
Is it like The Book of Eli, but like crazier?
No, it's... Brandon, I kind of need you to go into it completely blind. Just watch The Book of Henry and then report back to me.
Okay,
it's not good, by the way. It's not one of the... No, it's bad.
Gotcha.
But just watch that movie and then report back to me. He was in line to direct a Star Wars movie. And then Book of Henry came out and they said, nah, you good. I think we're going back to Abrams. So Colin Trevorrow...
So we got JJ wrapped up?
We can't have Star Wars The Book of Henry. That can't happen. So Colin Trevorrow comes back, and the big selling point for this movie was, hey, we're going to have the new cast with Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and this fucking clone chick. And the old cast with Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, and we're gonna combine them both together.
We're gonna make them regret all their choices.
Yeah, it's a Jurassic reunion.
Now, this movie had a $265 million budget, bigger budget than the first two.
And it made $1 billion, right?
But it barely made $1 billion, but it made $1 billion. This was still a very successful movie. Made $376 million domestic, which was good for number 5 in 2022. There were 2 movies that made more than this in the summer of 2022. Name them. Wasn't that long ago. Come on, you guys should know
saw this movie in theaters together.
We did. And actually, Brandon, that summer we saw both of the movies that were above it in theaters.
I got a banana icy.
You did, you nasty bitch.
Yeah.
A banana icy.
Yeah.
What?
Which makes me think Top Gun was one of them.
Top Gun was one of them.
Was the Minions the other one? Because I got banana icy? Okay.
No.
I'm trying to think. Was it Marvel or Disney related? Because I know a couple movies.
Yeah, we're sniffing down the right track.
I'm trying to think. It definitely wasn't. It wasn't Thor, was it? That was bad.
Nope.
Doctor Strange.
Multiverse of Madness.
Yep.
That one. That one did a little bit better. And
man, 2022 was a lit movie year.
And I'll say I'm one of the hitters for Multiverse of Madness. I think that's an underrated one.
Same. I like Multiverse too.
I think that's a fun
I just saw Bullet Train pop up, and I was like, that would be my I I will
Yeah,
defend this movie.
Brandon's got a big thing for Bullet Train.
Yeah. Aaron
I
Taylor
like that
Johnson
movie,
is my
but
dude. Is my dude. Yeah. But,
yeah, you want him to be the next James Bond. But this movie right here, this one, I think gets more hate than any other movie in this
I don't
franchise.
understand it.
So
I don't
on
get
that
And
comment, I wanted to give a quick read off of the Rotten Tomato scores. Not that I like to live by Rotten Tomato scores, but I think it's worth noting.
you know
No,
my
I think
opinion,
I
Rotten
think we
Tomatoes
can
ain't
gauge
shit, but go
we
ahead.
can gauge the
So you
critics.
have Jurassic Park, the original, coming in at 91%. Then
Fair
you have
score.
Jurassic World as number 2 at 72%.
That's gross.
The Lost World Jurassic Park, which I was very surprised to see it that high on the list, at 52%. Jurassic Park 3 at 49. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom at 47. So those three movies are kind of all very close to each other. But then you have Jurassic World Dominion at 29%.
That's
It's
really
a
bad.
I think
off.
I think that is disgusting, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't agree with
I
that.
don't think Dominion is like that bad. And
Yeah.
maybe it's nostalgia for me, but when they got the cast all back together, I was like, okay, now we're cooking here. We have something working. Like we have something going for this movie. I don't know what it was, but it was like it was
for me,
charisma, I think is what it was. It was charisma.
I feel like
I had
the
charisma.
nostalgia was lost.
I mean,
I
sure.
feel like they, for them of all people, I feel like they would have been best served in Jurassic World, where they finally open the park and say, "Hey, have you guys come
Bad
in?
idea.
A special mention, bad idea. We shouldn't be opening this park," and have them like go around the park and like actually experience the park and be like, "Wow, this is really cool." And then all of a sudden, shit goes.
Oh,
down.
like the hamster balls, like experience the hamster
like
balls.
have them actually enjoy being there for a hot second, and then shit went downhill. But having them come
Bringing
in,
them back for Dominion is kind of
randomly,
weird.
it didn't work for me. I was happy to see them, but it just didn't work.
What I purposefully left out of my Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom review, because I don't think Fallen Kingdom should get points for this, it leaves off in a place where it's like, wow, that was stupid as fuck.
But now dinosaurs
what
are here.
you could do with the third movie could be interesting.
Right.
Let's see what happens here. And they don't do a damn thing with that. Like, one of the big things with this movie was locusts. Like, I promise, Brandon, I'm on your side as far as not hating this movie the way a lot of other people do. But this movie has wasted potential written all over.
What's with the genetically
the things that they really set up?
Locusts. Like it's just
it's very not good. I'm gonna start more with the negatives than the positives when it comes to this, because I think that most of the conversation about this movie is negative. This is probably the most hated movie in the franchise, and while I disagree, I completely understand. The Locusts plot line was really dumb. It was a bad way to go about this.
Was it?
You had such an in and such a hook for people. Like, all right, we've been dealing with this park and this island and all that, but now the dinosaurs are actually among us.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do with that? And the movie responds with not a damn thing, save for a brief little bit, which we'll come back to. The villain in this movie is maybe my least favorite villain, apart from Doofus Spall or whatever his name was in the last movie. Lewis Dodgson, Campbell Scott. Who's the casting director for this franchise? Because they suck.
They had one. I think they just picked random people.
Because this guy, the only other thing I had ever seen him in was he's Peter Parker's dad, Richard Parker, in The Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2, and he's quite terrible in that too. So I think this actor just sucks. Not a fan of Campbell Scott. This was a
Nina
bad
Gold. Nina Gold was the casting director. I just wanted to give her a shout out.
You want to give her a shout out? I think she would have liked to be anonymous for this particular. Nina Gold. Okay, what else has she been a casting director for? Because now I'm interested. She's got to have some good things. Okay,
you can't be the casting director of Jurassic movie.
Conclave. Okay.
Okay,
sure.
yeah, no, that's good. That's good casting. Yeah.
Yeah, you got okay. 1917. All right, she gets a
That
pass.
is
1917 is an
awesome.
all-time
That
great.
is, I
So,
mean, wherever she
so
found those two
clearly she
actors.
viewed Jurassic World, that whole franchise, as like, shit. This is my off day. I don't give a fuck about this. Like, I'm doing this for the paycheck. I don't care about. Let's give that doofus from Amazing Spider-Man a call. So clearly not.
Steven Spielberg is an executive producer on this movie, by the way.
Yeah, by
See,
that,
they
and
had
then
to bring all
he
the
took a
big
nap
guns
on
in.
a hammock.
They had to
They
bring him
had to
back,
bring
man.
all the big guns in for this trilogy.
They were like, we need it.
to redeem
And
it,
speaking
it
of
still
the big
fell flat on
guns, the people that return for this franchise, I think Laura Dern is sleepwalking through this thing.
Well,
Laura Dern clearly does not have any interest in the script for this. I mean, granted, again, they give her some horrible, oh, he slid in my DMs. How about you slide out the back of a moving car? That's awful. That's terrible.
And this
honestly,
is exactly
honestly,
why Jurassic Park should be about dinosaurs. We don't need the human interaction.
right?
Yeah.
We don't need the good
Do
dialogue.
we want Laura Dern and Sam Neill in this movie? Probably not.
I
Are we
actually
okay
thought
with
Sam
it?
Neill was decent. I think Jeff Goldblum.
God,
No.
he was electric. He was electric.
Yeah.
Electrically bad, but
Like that-
electric.
Yeah,
was
electric as in like, I'm electrocuted. Please take me to the hospital now.
I mean, some of the lines they give
alright.
him, he's like, he's
We
like,
need to take a
third
quick.
from the top, fourth from the bottom. Like that whole thing was just
we
wild.
need to do a quick side note on Jeff Goldblum. I love Jeff Goldblum. Like,
I think he's
feel-
good. I think he's good.
I feel like when he acts, like he used to have like this Han Solo-esque kind of like cool, suave kind of guy in the movies, and now I feel
It's
like he just
goofy.
kind of elevates his voice and makes himself sound goofy,
Mm.
and I just can't take him seriously. And like he loses all dramatic effect to his acting. It's like
It's
and that-
very
like,
weird.
it's like when he's trying to get buttons, he's like he just gives this like little high pitched like excited type, but not excited at the same time. I don't even know how to describe it.
I didn't like him in Wicked.
But that's the thing,
I like Wicked, but I don't like him as the wizard.
but,
I-
that's how he acts in all the movies now. He gives
Exactly.
the same,
He's just
like,
Jeff
Right.
Goldblum playing Jeff
whimsical.
Goldblum.
Whimsical. That's probably the best way I can describe it. He has like
But-
a whimsical type
But
voice.
his character, he is
Whimsical
not
doofus.
Ian Malcolm. Like Ian Malcolm is not.
Thank
him
you.
in
He's
this
not Ian
character.
Malcolm. He's Jeff Goldblum.
Right? Why couldn't
In
he
the
just be Ian Malcolm?
In the
It was
first
like,
Jurassic Park movie, he's Jeff Goldblum, or he's Ian Malcolm. In every other movie, he's Jeff Goldblum.
But that's the
it
thing.
makes no sense.
Because I think he's given up on acting because back then he needed the paycheck, he needed the jobs, he needed the reputation. Now he has
You
the
are saying that his entire career was in front of him, but Jurassic
When
Park.
would you ever?
No.
When in any other movie that he's been in the last like 25 years would you get a? You wouldn't. You wouldn't. He wouldn't
but I'm saying
have the charisma to do it.
I know, but now I feel like he just plays himself in all the movies because he
How
doesn't
many-
give a shit. He's like, you guys are gonna pay me a shit ton of money to be in this movie. I'm just gonna show up and be myself and just say the lines you want me to say.
I'm Jeff Goldblum, bitch. Like
He plays the
that's
same
what he is in
character
Thor Ragnarok.
in Thor Ragnarok, Wicked, Jurassic Park. Every movie he's in, he's the same fucking person.
Yep.
They
But we
made
also love him, so
video games to this movie.
God, what is it like?
That is
Capture
tough.
the locusts.
Jurassic
Like,
World Evolution, Jurassic World Aftermath, Jurassic
Okay.
World Evolution 2. Like,
So also, while we're talking about the shittiness of this movie got 3 Razzies. Can you guess?
Really?
as it should
Can you
have.
guess which 3 they got?
Okay. Probably like worst sequel.
Yep, that's one of them. Yep, or sequel.
Probably Maisie's character
Nope.
was again a Razzie.
No, I think they try to avoid giving Razzies to kids.
Well,
I say fuck them, give them, but you know.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Laura Dern, worst supporting actress.
Did BJ
It
Wong
was a
get
worst
one?
actress, but not for her.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
How?
Okay.
No, that's-
because I actually think Bryce Dallas Howard's pretty good in this.
That's disgusting.
I
That's
think that she's the
disgusting.
best one in this movie
I
Like
agree.
I think she's good here. What?
BD Wong, worst doctor decision ever.
The worst doctor decision.
All right.
You've got an axe to grind with BD. I think we need to give
No,
Brandon 2 minutes
Hold
to talk
on,
about
hold
BD
on,
fucking
hold on.
Wong.
I want to
Can
get into
mention
that
this?
conversation.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the third one was worst screenplay, which I fully agree with. But
Okay.
what they did to BD Wong,
Morbius
Yeah.
came out that year.
What the? I mean,
Oh, that's
Morbius.
Morbius is worse. I mean,
Morbius.
Yeah, I mean,
but hey, you know what?
he's literally
we can't-
dancing. He's doing like the Schmurder dance.
we can't speak for the
forgot
people.
about that.
Like, doing the
But
Schmurder
so
dance.
I have to ask, why did they make him look like a shell of a man in this?
Oh,
movie?
BD Wong.
Yeah,
Oh, it's awful.
Man,
it's awful.
that
He looks
shit
terrible.
was fucking hilarious
he
to
looks-
he's
me.
always been this cocky scientist.
He looks like he
and
hasn't
all
been.
of a sudden, it's like
I mean, that it must have been like a directorial decision. Like he looks like he
hadn't
didn't
aged.
sleep for like a month. It looked like
He didn't age at all between Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. But between Jurassic World and this movie, he's aged 25 fucking years.
Yeah, it looked
And
like
he
he
just
hadn't
looks
slept,
like
and he's just
he looks like he is just like life has run this man down.
and like
And-
I
and-
get that. I think his character, like he's made it.
he
note in the
regrets
past of,
every
like-
decision he's made.
Well, it's
up
not
to
even that. It's that he's always wanted it to himself. He didn't want dinosaurs to escape because once they did, he lost control of his ability to kind of monopolize
Control it. Yeah, yeah.
the genetic
Yeah,
universe. Now
control
it's like everyone's game. So I get that aspect, but like they just made him look like a shell of a man who's given up on life in this movie, and I don't think that was a
And
good
like maybe he has, because like he did. I mean, in theory,
Are you talking about the actor?
He still has a job. He's still working on genetics. It's just he's not in control.
No, I was talking about the character, because technically, like he created this famine. Like the locust is his like problem. Like it's his fault. So like,
Yeah.
maybe he is like, oh, I'm at the end. Like if I can't figure out this locust issue, like my life is over. And Mitchell, I don't have an axe to grind with BD Wong because I actually think BD Wong is a good actor, and I like him in Law and Order Special. I like him in SVU. I do. I like him in SVU. I think he's really good in SVU. I think in these movies, it is just terrible that every single time they're like, we need someone to make like a genetic like F up, and they're just like, bring back Dr. Wu. Like, can we just get another doctor in? Like you
To
would
the
think,
point where even Jeff Goldblum's like, it's always you.
not this guy. Yeah, not this guy. Because Tommy, that's my whole point. Is like, if he's gonna fuck up this bad multiple times, why is he still in charge of the project? Why is he still in charge of all these dinosaurs? He shouldn't be. He should be out. Give his genetic research to someone else.
Fucking sense.
Again, profits and production don't line up. Yes, I understand that Dr. Wu is the guy who invented all of this stuff, but you tell me you can't find one other doctor who can't do what he does and probably better? Like, that's where this entire franchise loses me, because every single time they bring him back, I'm like, this fucker is back in the house. I'm like, what is he here for? He's here to mess up another dinosaur project? Like, I don't. It just bugs me every single time. I can't get over it. And like he must be cashing paychecks from Jurassic, so good for him, because oh my god, he's cashing the paychecks. So all about it. But I don't know, guys. I watched the extended version too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
I mean,
This movie is extended enough as it is. It's 2 hours and 25 minutes.
it was 2 hours and 40.
Why the
Sick.
hell would you do that? See, I'm come to my. I'm
No.
especially
If
director's
there's an
cut when it comes
extended
to
version,
no with
there's an
bad
extended
movies.
version.
I only
we-
watched the extended versions if I enjoyed the initial movie.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
only
I
watch
never
extended
died for-
versions if I'm forced to at gunpoint.
I think
but
the extended version is the creative, like what was meant to be put on the screen, and producers and
Boo.
people who don't have creative control to tell people, well, you got to cut 15 minutes, you got to cut 20 minutes.
they
Like
should've
I
cut
think
more.
extended versions.
should have cut half an hour.
I mean, I don't disagree. I
Should have
think
cut
this
Macy
movie.
Lockwood out of the movie.
We could have cut out the whole Stranger Things season 2 plot line in the beginning with Maisie being hidden in the
Oh,
foot.
whoa!
We could have cut that whole shit
Do
out.
we like that, and we should have
No, I
stayed
hated it.
there, or
No,
we
because
go
you
away
can
from
completely cut that
Biosyn?
out. She serves no purpose because if that whole thing could have been blue,
I hate the Biosyn
and
stuff.
and then it's dinosaurs instead of some punk ass kid we don't care about.
They could have had one like 5 to 10 minute scene of showing them all in this cabin in the woods, having her bitch and moan that she wants to see
Cabin in the
people,
Woods, great movie.
and not have the
Talk about that
30
instead.
and not have like the 30-minute scene of her going out back and forth 1,000 times.
Can we
Kidnapped.
can we point out that so I hate everything with Biosyn, like I do, but
Yes.
I actually like the first 10 minutes of the movie where he like wrestles he's like rodeo like capturing the dinosaurs like in the wild with on his horse and like bringing them back, and he gets stopped by the human like the dinosaur traffickers, and the guy like holds him at gunpoint. That story to me way more interesting than whatever stupid ass story they
Yes.
have with Maisie's
I
character in
agree
Biosyn.
because I enjoyed because obviously the whole concept of these two movies was showing mankind and humanity coexisting, and I like
Right.
the scenes where you see them kind of, I guess, wrangling
The underground dinosaur stuff is weird and it doesn't
Yeah.
really work,
like,
but
and you
I
have
like
the
that
scene-
better than Biosyn.
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
like, you have the scene where like the dinosaurs are in the construction site and they're like
Yeah,
just
I like that too.
kind of walk through. Like those scenes were cool.
That was a cool scene.
And I really liked the ending of this movie where they kind of had the montage,
The like
of
montage.
dinosaurs with what they eventually evolved into, animal wise.
Or like
We're at the
they're
part where
all
we're talking
on the-
about the good stuff about the movie now.
Yeah,
Because
'cause
I think
honestly,
I have some.
everything,
for a hot
as
second.
Tommy points out, everything with the dinosaurs in the world interacting with people is way more interesting than everything in that fucking lab on this
Yeah.
island. Like, get
So
off the
let's-
island. Like, get away
so
from the
let's-
island. The island
ahead,
is
Tommy.
Star Wars Tatooine, is what it is.
But like
The island is
even
that.
the dinosaurs, I didn't really care that much about in this movie either, which was kind of annoying to me. Like
Yeah.
the towards the end where they have the T-Rex versus the alternate T-Rex. Well, I don't know what the fuck it was called, but they have that whole dinosaur bash out at the end. I didn't care about it. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. Like this movie has killed me on the inside by this point. I just want it to be over. I don't even care about this dinosaur fight. That's how bad it got for me.
Which is crazy.
So, for me, one, I think that the Chris Pratt Bryce Dallas Howard relationship that really did not work at all in
it
Fallen
also just
Kingdom
came out of nowhere.
They
came
tried
out of
to
nowhere in
replicate
Fallen
the Honda
Kingdom.
Layer relationship. They
I
tried
think
to
that
replicate
it
there.
works a lot better in this
Sure.
one, and I think so much of that is because I think Bryce Dallas Howard kind of brings it in this movie. Like, she's the character
was
with the most
badass.
development.
I think she understands the assignment, you know?
Yes, I think she did a really good job in this movie, and her character goes through so much in this thing.
Yeah.
I really think that she won a Razzie. That's see the
Yeah,
Razzies.
I don't.
Razzies
The
ain't
Razzies
shit.
are sometimes like not worth shit.
She was
you know?
she was
Yeah.
giving off the badass mom kind of vibe. Like go
No,
after-
she did a great job. Like, if you want to give her a Razzie for Argyle, go right on ahead. But don't give her a Razzie.
Oh,
for
I would
this.
give her a Razzie and Argyle just for the ice skating scene.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I don't even blame her, but like it just was bad, you know?
Yeah, but she's not going to get that because Madam Web came out, and I think that they were legally obligated to give all the Razzies to that last year, which
Yeah, that's
more
fair.
than fair.
Um,
But I think everything that happened in France, I really liked. And so we were like halfway
was that
through
the
this
black
movie.
market? That was the black
Yeah.
market stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, all the stuff in France where they meet
Because
up
like
with
that's
Omar
just
Sy.
it's cool. It's interesting. It's
And you actually get some dinosaurs being in the real world stuff.
Yep.
And that, like,
the dinosaur
halfway through this
cockfights
movie,
were funny. The dinosaur
Yeah.
cockfights were funny.
halfway through this movie, I'm like, shit, I actually really like this thing. I'm
Right,
invested.
We're,
And
like,
then the rest of the
cooking a little
movie
bit.
happens, and it falls off. But from that point, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of invested in what Bryce Dallas Howard is going on. Chris Pratt's doing some badass stuff with, you know, the black market people and getting chased down. And I like this new character played by DeWanda Wise. She plays this like former Air Force pilot that's helping him out, and I really like her. I think she's really good in this movie. There were some really strong things going on there, and that alone gave me a lot more than Fallen Kingdom did. That whole sequence in France gave me so much hope for like, all right, shit, is this movie going to be good? Like this is kind of, it's not, Jurassic Park level good, but for a summer blockbuster, I'm having fun with this.
I want to quantify it. It was in like the B plus B
Yeah.
range.
Yeah.
For most of this movie. And then again, I'll just emphasize when they go to Biosin, when they go after Maisie and like they're on the island, it just tailspins. And it's like the movie just grinds to a halt. I don't like it. Like, can we get off the island? Like, I kind of hope that's what they do with the new movie. Like, get away from the labs and like the genetic stuff, and let's have dinosaurs in the world. Like, let's have dinosaurs interacting with people. Like, that's, we've been saying in all podcasts. Like, that's when Jurassic Park, Jurassic World is interesting. Is when they're doing stuff like that. And they stopped doing it like halfway through this movie, and I don't really know why. Like, and the Locust is like the worst plot in the history of like cinema. It is bad plot. And of course, Dr. Wu had to be involved in it.
You and Dr. Wu.
I mean, it's just you bring him back every single time. Production and profits. What is he providing? What is he providing? Like, sorry.
Tommy, you seem to be the one with the biggest axe to grind with this movie.
I mean, I think
please,
he's gonna give us an F. I think he's gonna give it an F. And
I don't think he's gonna go quite that far. I don't think he's gonna go that far.
What?
This movie.
Brandon thinks you're giving this thing an F, and no. I think that, I mean, the what did you think about the combination of new crew versus old crew? Because they really thought that they had some, like, they were gonna have people clapping in the seats, and that did not happen.
Alan Grant is back, baby.
The problem I had with it was I was very excited because I was like, yeah, of course, any time you have a franchise that brings back the original crew, they usually try to give some fan service behind it and try to have some fun with it. So I was like, it would be cool to see them interact with the new crew. They didn't really do that, and when they did, it was just awkward because you had the whole interaction with Grant and Chris Pratt's character. That was like a weird, awkward, like 1 minute conversation of like, hey, I read your work. Oh, I heard you work with raptors.
You're the raptor guy.
That was kind of the end of conversation. I'm like, you literally had a scientist who's obsessed with raptors and how they, operate and live. And you have a guy who literally trained and basically raptor. And that's the best conversation you can come up with for those characters. Like, come on.
Jeff Goldblum.
Goldblum had no interaction with anybody because he was just...
Except Pratt.
Yeah, but it was very minor.
He said to Pratt...
attempt at comedic relief, and it flopped.
Right. It's like, how did you train them? And he's like, it's about an animal-human interaction. And then Goldblum just tries to make a joke, and then nothing. And it's like...
they weren't going to have too much conversation because dinosaurs were after them.
And yet we still managed to have conversations in every other fucking Jurassic Park movie that were better than this. You don't bring back the OG crew to just do nothing with them. There was no spark. There was no nostalgia behind it. There was no like.
Can I say?
I was just like,
the best interaction in this movie. It was either Fallen Kingdom or Dominion. I believe it was Dominion. When Zaya and Franklin's character, they're at the very beginning, and they tell Claire's character, you're going about this the right way, but you need to do something different. Oh, I think that was a great interaction.
That's another thing I hate about this movie. Was
doing more stuff like that.
The whole campaign shit that they had going on at the beginning of the movie.
You didn't like that?
It was so stupid. I had no interest in any of the plot lines they tried to flesh out in this movie. And I was really disappointed. I enjoyed this franchise. I had no interest in it.
Fair.
But
I can't argue with you.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, I
Tommy.
can't argue with you. Like,
I
I think that's
I
a
was at
valid opinion.
a D minus for this one. It was still a D. It
Wow.
wasn't bad enough to make it an F because it was still somewhat entertaining at parts. I enjoyed the ending of it with how they shot all the dinosaur scenes and all that kind of stuff that was explained before. I enjoyed seeing all the original crew back together, all in the exact same movie. So obviously, we haven't seen them all on screen since the first one, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, there really wasn't much else to it that I really liked that would have made it go higher. But I didn't hate it enough to make it an F. So that's
Brandon.
I think I'm at a similar grade that I was when I first saw this. This is the most mid movie ever. C 35.3. It's just a mid movie, but it's mid because like the first half is really really good and the back half is just bad. That's what so it's just mid.
I had this movie at a C 79.80 when I saw it in theaters. When I watched it at home, I was at a C 13.50.
Fair
So
enough.
my grade did drop from a high C to a low C, but I still can't hate this movie the way that a lot of other people do. And compared to Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, and Fallen Kingdom, this one being the one that gets the most hate just doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't make much sense because I think that this movie touches on some cool stuff that the other movies just didn't even come close to.
So
But that
That's what I'm hoping
that
Rebirth is, right? Like I'm hoping
So-
Rebirth is like Black Market.
I'm not hearing good things about Rebirth. by
speaking
the
of
way.
Rebirth, I want to read out the premise of this movie just real quick so we can kind of see where this thing's going. Because this is I thought it was going to be kind of given the name
Birth?
Rebirth, I was thinking it was kind of be relaunching the franchise, but apparently it's just a continuation. So Jurassic World Rebirth takes place 5 years after the events of Jurassic World Dominion. Earth's environment has largely proven inhospitable to the remaining populations of dinosaurs and other de-extinct prehistoric animals. The surviving creatures now reside in remote tropical locations around the world. And a couple of the characters, blah, blah, blah. Basically, they infiltrate a forbidden island in the Atlantic Ocean, which already is giving just, again, another
Bad
random
vibes.
island, once used by InGen as a dinosaur research facility. The team's objective is to locate the 3 largest remaining prehistoric species from land, sea, and air. So, like, this is giving, like, the Pokemon vibes of, like, you got to collect water, earth, and air, and we got to bring it back. But apparently they get to the island, and all the dinosaurs are mutated. So now we're going to get mutated dinosaurs. There's a dinosaur with 6 limbs called Distortus Rex. So, I don't know.
I'm kind of in on that.
I feel like they can. I don't think they're going this direction, but I feel like if they lean into the horror aspect when they get to this island and just really give some freaky ass dinosaurs that you're not expecting to see, I feel like that would be a fun movie to watch. But now we have this random new island, and now they have to collect very specific things. So it's almost like a checkbox where they're going to be going through the island trying to locate this stuff. So I don't know.
Who do you think they asked to come back? Who do you think they asked?
Everybody said no.
I think
They have no original cast.
Good. That is the one
thing.
thing that makes me excited.
That's probably a good thing, right?
They have 0 carryover cast. Like nobody from both Jurassic World and Jurassic Park is going to be in this movie, which I think could be a good thing. But at the same time, I want to go, well, if nobody wanted to come back, that's a little concerning.
I don't think they asked anyone back.
I don't know.
The
Don't think they
director,
asked Jeff Goldblum at all?
the director is
I'm
Gareth
making
Edwards.
a joke, but Jeff Goldblum continued to cash checks. So
I feel like the most logical person to have brought back for this, if they were to, would have been BD Wong because he does the genetics and they're looking for genetic stuff.
yeah.
but
he's out finally, apparently.
The director of this is Gareth Edwards. He made the 2014 Godzilla, Rogue One, and The Creator. So he's made some good stuff. His movies tend to look really good. The trailers I don't think have been very good because one of the things that I really like about Gareth Edwards, I disagree.
Good.
I think the trailers actually don't look good, especially for a Gareth Edwards movie. Because Gareth Edwards movies usually look fantastic, and this just looks like a regular old Jurassic Park movie.
I never go by the trailers because obviously the whole point of a trailer is to suck people in.
28 years later,
they distort stuff.
Sucked us way in.
Exactly.
Yeah, they just lied to us.
I try not to go off of trailers.
Although I will say the trailer.
Looking at the movie poster, though, I swear to God, this looks like a goddamn Rancor from Star Wars in the background. Like, this doesn't even look like a dinosaur.
I have two words for what
Star Wars into the dinosaur kingdom.
What I'm holding on to as far as what might make this good. And those words are Mahershala Ali, because Mahershala Ali is a fantastic actor who just had because Marvel's like, yeah, you're going to be in Blade. And then we're just never going to
his
make
career
Blade.
Hostage for years.
Because this guy is a 2-time Academy Award winner and a great actor, one of the best we have. So I'm just happy to be able to see him acting again.
Yeah. I think he was on the Daniel Kaluuya trajectory. He's better than Daniel. But my point is, those two guys were, very hot actors, and then he was tied to Blade, and he just sat there for years, tied to Blade, and they never made the movie. And it's I just hate it. I hate it. I hope this, if this movie doesn't do well, I hope it springs him to do something else, because I need to see him in more stuff.
I'm curious to see how Scarlett Johansson does in this movie. I'm not super excited to see her, I don't know.
At least they got a big name. They do have big names attached to this movie.
Yeah.
So
I hope she'll do good in this movie, and I hope.
And she does need something after Marvel, right? She kind of needs something after Marvel.
Jurassic Park is a fun franchise. I would like to see it go on to do some more crazy shit. And I like that they're kind of going back to their roots with hey, we have to go back to an island.
You can literally do anything with Jurassic Park. You can do anything with dinosaurs. So you can continue it. It's just whether you have a story to actually tell.
Yeah, I feel like if this movie flops,
it's gonna be Rebirth and then never again.
I feel like it would they might scrap it if they can't revive it after that.
Yeah, someone's gonna do it 20 years from now if it does.
Yeah,
but yeah, I just can't wait for it to be like Jurassic World Rebirth, and if it doesn't do well, it's like Jurassic World. Never again. Never will we see dinosaurs.
And I'm not sure it's going. I know you guys are optimistic, and a lot of people are really optimistic about its box office.
I just wanted to do okay.
But here's my thing. Okay. July has Superman coming up. It's got Fantastic Four coming up. F1's coming out this weekend, and it's got great reviews. As someone that's seen it, please go see F1. It's incredible. And Jurassic World's just going to kind of be coming out in between all that with mid reviews. And so I think a lot of people are going to say, I can wait on that one. Now, maybe I'm dead ass wrong, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But that concludes our Jurassic Park, Jurassic World reviews. And we are going to be going back to Steven Spielberg movies, believe it or not.
Wow.
Ish. Not quite. Because we are going to be reviewing a movie that you might have heard a little bit about in the last couple of days or so, celebrating the 50th anniversary, that being Jaws. Came out in 1975, and so we are going to be in the Jaws franchise. Yes, Jaws was a franchise, and we'll see just how bad it got.
Just in time for Shark Week, baby.
Exactly. Just in time for the 4th of July weekend that Jaws takes place on, because we're going to talk about Jaws, and then we're going to talk about Jaws 2, and then after that, Jaws 3, and then Jaws the Revenge.
I'll be honest,
movies that have single.
Jaws.
Movies that have
Never seen the
single-digit
sequel.
Rotten Tomatoes scores, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Jaws: The Revenge, I'm pretty sure has
That's
like a
lower
1.
than Sharknado, right? Like Sharknado like has higher reviews than Jaws.
I'm pretty sure that Jaws: The Revenge has a 1% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's as bad as we're sorry. I have to defend Jaws: The Revenge's honor. It has a 2% on Rotten Tomatoes.
God.
So prepare yourselves because we're getting into the water with the sharks, and I'm excited to see what's waiting for us.
Sharknado 2, 61%. Sharknado 3, I'm looking this up. I just want to make sure the Sharknado franchise is doing better than Jaws. Sharknado
has to.
3, 36%. Now, granted, only 33 reviews.
Much
But-
better than Jaws 2.
Also,
Better
better
than
than
Jaws.
Jurassic Park
So,
Dominion. So
That's
Yeah,
that's
well.
very true. That's very true. So the Steven Spielberg era has led us to review movies that are worse than Sharknado. Don't know how we got there, but we're more than happy to do so. We'll talk to you next week.